What's going on, everyone? This is Jay from Premier Gaming Entertainment, here to give to you and bring to you my takeaway and analysis for this week's game versus Maryland. I know the setup is a little bit different, the camera looks a little bit different and everything like that, but I'm not in my usual element. I've been traveling and I don't have what I would normally have, so you're not going to see an intro or an outro or anything like that. Maybe at a future time. But anyways, yeah, I'm currently attending my father's funeral, so I don't have my normal setup. But that's neither here nor there. I wanted to talk about the game. Uh, Normally I would have did it yesterday, but this is the first chance I've had to kind of share my thoughts. Didn't watch the game in its entirety, but did see the highlights. So I'm trying to give you my best analysis that I can given the highlights. If I have a chance to watch the video and the game in its entirety, play by play, I'll definitely do that. And if there's anything different than my analysis from watching the highlights, I'll definitely fill that in. Now that I got that out the way, let me know how you feel about the game in general in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about how we played. Are you concerned about next week's game? We'll get into that when I do my predictions video in a few days. But just let me know how you feel about the game itself. Definitely leave a like on the video if you enjoy the content, and also subscribe to the channel. So, this game was kind of like, almost like a tale of two halves. Well, I'm not going to say a tale of two halves. It was like, Michigan came out the way that I thought that they were going to come out, which is dominating both, not necessarily on the offensive end, but definitely on the defensive end, making plays. Played really, really well for the first quarter and a half. And then, they were up 23-3. And I had honestly thought, this was going to be a blowout game. Michigan is just rolling. This isn't going to be close. By halftime, it's going to be this huge score. Put JJ in for a couple of series, pull him, and it's going to be, second and third string for the rest of the game. But nope, that could be further from the truth. And hats off to Maryland. They didn't give up. They didn't just throw in the towel and punt on the game. They decided that they were going to go all out. They had nothing to lose. It was senior night, senior day, so they didn't want to go out the way that they were playing in that first quarter, and they fought themselves back into the game. And I know a lot of people are gonna look down on this negatively, but I'm happy that this happened, to be honest with you. So, this whole season, the whole thing is we haven't played anybody. Now that we played Penn State, they're not good anyways. And, the goalpost got moved, which it was to be expected. I mean, I didn't expect anything else. People are going to have their opinions about Michigan, and that is what it is. But why I'm happy is this was another game of playing in the fourth quarter, playing against adversity, playing under pressure. And we were definitely under pressure in this game, especially in the second half. Giving up scores in the third quarter, which we hadn't done all year. Definitely having to play in the fourth quarter in a game that we had every opportunity of losing. So, this is the Penn State game. Obviously, they played us well too, but I always felt that we had the game under control. This game, once they started to come back, we definitely did not have the game under control. And I actually couldn't watch the game because I was on a bus. So I tried to stream it, but the streaming stuff was down. for the first time all season, so I couldn't stream the game. So I actually literally had to go to ESPN.com and just keep refreshing the summary page and keep an eye on the score that way. And I was a nervous wreck sitting on that bus. But this game, to me, didn't have the feeling that it did for the Penn State game where, we had everything under control. The score was close, but we had things under control. In this game, Maryland was moving the football. I'm not gonna lie. They were passing. They hit some big plays, and we missed on some big plays, and we didn't put them out of hand. I remember at the end of the half, when we didn't get those points, I said this might come back to haunt us. I was so wishing that. I mean, obviously, I hoped that we score a touchdown, but I was hoping that we would at least kick the field goal, and that would have put us up a very comfortable margin. I mean, Maryland only did end up scoring 24 points, so had we kicked the field goal, obviously you can't predict the future or anything like that, but we would have still won the game. But, they kept pressing, they kept pushing the football, and it ended up being that our defense ended up winning this game. Because the offense kind of stalled out, wasn't exactly the best game from JJ. I know it was real windy, and I know that had a bearing on the conditions and stuff like that, throwing the football. And he missed a few throws, and he got lucky on a few throws that could have been intercepted. But, it was one of these games where the defense actually was the unit that pulled us through in this game. Because though we did, we were able to run the football, we weren't able to run the football as effectively as we did against Penn State for whatever reason. And throwing the football was kind of hit or miss with the windy conditions. So us being able to force turnovers and get key defensive stops, sacks, all that was the difference in this game. And, it's amazing when you watch these games and you wonder what makes a team, say a 10-11 win team, and what makes a team a 6-8 team win team. Sometimes it's just these little details that make a difference in teams winning and teams losing. I mean, and I remember watching Maryland versus Ohio State, and it was the exact same thing. Maryland had every opportunity to win that game against Ohio State. I felt as though that they were actually dominating and playing in a better and higher capacity against Ohio State than they were against Michigan, to be honest with you. They were putting the pressure on Ohio State when I watched that game. They were winning that game. And it just took one careless mistake. And that mistake, when he threw that pick six, ended up changing the whole trajectory of the whole entire game. And it came down to, several plays that Talia made or didn't make that were the difference in this game as well. And I know the Michigan defense had something to do with it, but he made, a couple of bad throws, a couple of bad decisions, and that was the difference in the whole entire game. So, like I said, offense was so-so, defense played well, even though we did give up the most amount of points that we did, for a whole entire season. When it counted for us to make plays, the defense made plays. And that was the difference in the ball game. And I know people are going to look at that and say, oh, because we didn't have the signs, and go back to that. I don't know much longer we're going to go through that foolishness. But, this was just a matter of Michigan, and I don't think they overlooked them. But this was all the writings of the wall being a trap game, And then you had a team that just had nothing to lose. You know, you combine those two things and you have a recipe for being a game like this. This was almost like that Illinois game, to be honest with you, where you're on the road, you're playing a team that's got nothing to lose, they're hungry, and you got everything to play for. You might play a little bit tight because of it. You might, deal with some injuries that could affect the game a little bit, like Roman Wilson going down. And, it just ends up being a dogfight. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is, did you get the victory? Did you win? Can you move on to the next game? And that's what happened in this game. Win and move on. That's all that mattered. People are going to be worried about this game and say, "Oh, well, I'm worried we're going to lose against Ohio State because of how we played against Maryland." None of that matters. It doesn't matter at all. Look how Maryland played against us this week, and then look how they played against Penn State, before. You would have sworn that those were two completely different teams. So it doesn't matter. You're not going to be carrying what you did in this game against Maryland, against the Ohio State game. For one, this was a road game, that's going to be at home. But even regardless of that, Michigan has a totally completely different ball game and game plan for the game against Ohio State. I'm sure they're going to have different plays that they're going to run. They're going to have different personnel groups and different formations. Just a different all-around strategy for Ohio State that they've been practicing all year long, that they're going to implement just for that game. So don't think that just because of how they play against Maryland, that's how they're going to play against Ohio State. So I'm not concerned about that at all. All that matters is we won, we move on to the next game, and then we prepare for that game. So as long as everyone is healthy, that's all that matters. So anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, enjoyed it, definitely please feel free to leave a like on the video. Let me know how you felt about the game in the comment section below. And if you enjoy my content, definitely subscribe to the channel. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. And as always, go blue.